Okay, let's dive into this. We're talking about navigating Singapore, trying to find, your perfect spot as an expat.
Yeah.
It's a vibrant city, sure, geographically small, but wow, each neighborhood feels completely different. Makes choosing quite a task.
It absolutely does. You might think, oh, Singapore, it's all one big city, but you go just a few stops on the MRT and the whole feel changes. The buildings, the pace, everything. So it's not just about finding accommodation, it's finding the right vibe for how you want to live.
And for this deep dive, our guide is actually based on insights from a source that really knows this landscape, moveinstay.com.
Right.
They've been helping business travelers and expats find places across Asia for well over 25 years now. Short stays, long stays, the whole lot.
That kind of long-term view is gold, isn't it? They've seen how things change, what works for different people over time. They're not just, showing listings.
Exactly. They understand the nuances from decades of experience, helping people settle in right here. So our mission today, take all that rich info they've shared and really break it down. We want to give you a clearer picture of the options based on different lifestyles, different priorities.
Yeah, cut through the noise a bit.
So you feel properly informed, less overwhelmed by all the choices.
Because that feeling of just looking at the map and thinking, where do I even start? That's pretty common. Hopefully this makes it feel a bit more manageable.
Okay, let's kick things off with some areas the source highlights as just popular neighborhoods, places expats often gravitate towards. Holland Village is definitely one they mentioned.
Oh, yeah, Holland V. It really has earned that reputation. People often say it's got this almost bohemian, villagey atmosphere, quite different from other parts of Singapore.
What makes it so popular?
Well, there's a really diverse mix of restaurants, cafes, shops. It creates this lively buzz, Everything's right there.
And the food scene is a big part of it, according to Move and Stay. They talk about everything from fantastic hawker food to international options.
Absolutely. Plus, it's got that Circle Line MRT connection, which is super useful.
And housing. What's the mix like?
You get a bit of everything. Apartments and condos, sure, but also those landed properties, houses with their own garden space. More room, but usually pricier.
Right, landed properties. Good to know the term.
But one thing the source points out, and it's important, because it's so popular, Holland Village gets really busy, especially weekends.
Ah. Okay, so vibrancy comes with crowds, a trade-off.
Exactly. Great amenities, but maybe not peak tranquility all the time. Something to weigh up.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, moving to a very different kind of popular Orchard Road, almost synonymous with Singapore for many people.
Totally. Orchard Road screams shopping luxury convenience. You can't beat the retail therapy there.
Unparalleled shopping, definitely. And the transport's great, right? Lots of high-end apartments, condos. You're right in the thick of it.
It is bustling, no doubt, but that convenience factor is huge if being near everything is your main goal.
Interestingly, though, the article does mention it's maybe seen a tiny dip in popularity lately.
Yeah, I found that interesting too. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are expat priorities shifting slightly? Maybe looking for that luxury or convenience, but with a different flavor. Perhaps more community, more green?
Could be.
Orchards still prime real estate, obviously, but maybe the definition of the ideal spot is broadening out a bit.
Well, speaking of green and community, Bukit Timah also gets a mention as popular, especially for families and outdoorsy types.
Yes, Bukit Timah offers a real contrast. Think lush greenery. It's right next to nature reserves, parks. It just feels greener, more relaxed.
And location-wise.
It's super convenient for a lot of the big international schools. That's a massive draw for families. Housing-wise, you see a mix of those spacious landed houses again, and also larger condos, often with pools and facilities.
Okay, so those are some of the big, generally popular areas. But the source then gets more specific, looking at family-friendly areas. Singapore's great for kids, but some places really lean into it.
Right. These are areas where you find more space, good schools nearby, lots of parks for kids to run around. Serangoon Gardens is one they highlight as a real family favorite.
What's the feel there? The article paints it as quite relaxed, almost like a village, very different from downtown.
That's the appeal. It feels distinct. And you do find more landed properties there, which usually means more space for a family.
More space is always good with kids.
Definitely. And Movanstay points to the excellent schools, both international and local ones, are nearby, plenty of parks and playgrounds, and still a good variety of food options.
Sounds lovely. Community feels strong there.
Yeah, it's known for that. Kids playing outside, neighbors chatting, the trade-off. It's a bit further from the big shopping malls, but that contributes to its quieter, less dense vibe.
Makes sense. What about families who love being outdoors,
Yeah.
near the water?
Then the East Coast often comes up. The big draw is obviously East Coast Park. That huge stretch of coastline is amazing for cycling, picnics, water sports, just enjoying the sea air.
And the housing reflects that lifestyle.
Often, yes. You find lots of spacious apartments, often in condos with good facilities, and many of them have sea views, which is a big plus. Good schools in the area, too, and tons of restaurants and cafes along the coast. It's a very active, relaxed lifestyle.
Okay. And then even further east, there's Pasiris.
Pasiris offers something different again. It's known for being more laid back, and crucially, it's generally more affordable than areas closer to the center.
Ah, affordability is key for many.
Absolutely. And what that often means is you get more space for your money, bigger condo units, maybe even landed properties with actual backyards, which can be a huge bonus for families.
More space, potentially a backyard, lower rent.
Hmm.
Sounds like a strong contender for budget-conscious families.
For sure. The key things are that relative affordability, being close to nature, Pasiris Park, the beach are right there, and it has a growing community feel as it's one of the newer towns.
Right. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. The article also looks at trendy districts for young professionals, places that blend work and play, right? Good nightlife, cool cafes, easy CBD access.
Exactly. These are the spots buzzing after 5 p.m. Tiong Bahru gets a big mention.
Tiong Bahru is unique, isn't it? That Art Deco architecture gives it such a cool vibe.
It really does. It feels, I don't know, more relaxed than being right on the edge of the CBD. But it's packed with character. Think independent coffee shops, amazing bakeries, little boutiques, and of course, the famous Tiong Bahru market.
Yeah, the source highlights that mix of the old, elegant buildings and the modern stuff inside them.
It's a place you want to just wander around and explore. It's not flashy, but it's got this cool historic meets hip thing going on. And the apartments in those old blocks have real character.
Chinatown also pops up on this list.
Yeah,
Not just for tourists.
definitely not. For young professionals, the killer feature is how incredibly close it is to the CBD. You can often walk or have a super short commute.
That's a huge plus.
And beyond that, it's a massive foodie destination. From dirt cheap, amazing hawker food to really chic restaurants hidden away. Plus, housing is varied. You can find updated HDB flats.
HDB, that's the public housing, right? Where most Singaporeans live.
Exactly, often very practical and affordable. Or you can find cool, renovated shop houses. The source mentions it's good for finding room rentals, too. It's just lively, never dull.
Never dull feels accurate for Chinatown.
Yeah.
Okay, third trendy spot mentioned, Duxton Hill.
Ah, Duxton Hill, right on the fringe of the CBD. It's really known for its concentration of, well, trendy bars and restaurants, very popular for after-work drinks and dinners.
So a bit more upscale than Chinatown, maybe.
Yeah, it has a slightly more sophisticated, polished feel. Lots of beautifully restored chop houses, housing stylish places, alongside some modern buildings, too. It feels energetic, definitely a place to see and be seen after work.
Got it. So if you want that immediate post-work buzz with a bit more polish, Duxton Hill.
Precisely. Living there puts you right in the heart of that social scene.
Okay, moving from the established trendy spots, the source also looks at up-and-coming locations, areas changing, maybe more affordable now, getting new facilities,
Yeah.
a peek into the future.
Exactly. Places undergoing development, maybe offering better value, or just a different kind of lifestyle. Clementi is one they highlight.
Clementi, that's more of a classic residential area, isn't it? But gaining popularity.
Yeah, it's well established, but getting a boost. It benefits from having good schools nearby, which always helps. And transport links have improved significantly, making it more accessible. Plus, being close to the National University of Singapore and US gives it a bit of a youthful vibe.
What's the living like there?
It's quite classic Singapore, great hawker centers, local shops, but with that improved east-west MRT line access straight into the city. So it's a blend of that traditional neighborhood feel with more convenience now.
Interesting. Then there's Punggol, described as a proper new town, planned with water and greenery in mind.
That's right. Punggol really embodies Singapore's newer approach to town planning. It's a bit further out, yes, but the infrastructure is designed from scratch. Think extensive park connectors for cycling and running, waterfront views from many blocks, modern HDBs and condos designed with sustainability in mind.
And the article mentions it's still developing, new malls, schools popping up.
Constantly, it's very much an area still growing into itself. Because of that, it's often seen as having good potential, maybe even for property investment down the line.
And connecting that back to the source, Move-in Stay's long experience must give them perspective on how areas like Punggol evolve over time.
Absolutely. They've seen areas go from up and coming to fully established, vibrant towns. Government investment really shapes these places into highly livable communities.
The third one in this category is Teluk Blangah.
Teluk Blangah offers a really nice mix, actually. It's close to nature and the city. It's right near Mount Faber Park and Labrador Nature Reserve, so you've got amazing green escapes on your doorstep.
It's still connected.
Yeah, it's relatively peaceful compared to central areas, but the Circle Line MRT keeps you well connected. It's a good shout if you want that nature access without feeling totally cut off.
Okay, completely shifting gears now. Luxury living. The article covers options for those seeking a really upscale lifestyle, too.
And Marina Bay is probably the first place that springs to mind for many. It's the absolute picture of modern, high-rise, glitzy Singapore.
Iconic buildings, skyscrapers, those incredible views over the bay.
Exactly. And you're right in the middle of everything. World-class restaurants, entertainment, shopping, big events. It's the heart of the action.
Comes with a hefty price tag, I assume. Exclusive condos are the norm.
Oh, definitely. You pay a significant premium for that postcode and those views. It's luxury defined by centrality, views, and status. Very Singaporean in its modern ambition.
But there's a different kind of luxury, too, like Sentosa Cove.
Totally different vibe. Sentosa Cove is all about resort-style luxury. It's this exclusive island community, much more relaxed, feels like you're on a permanent holiday.
What's the draw there?
Waterfront living is key. Many places have private berths for yachts. High-end resort facilities are nearby. It feels miles away from the city buzz, but it's still pretty accessible. You get a tight-knit, very international community feel there.
So, luxury as tranquility and escape. Interesting contrast. The riverside areas, Robertson Quay, Clark Quay, are also mentioned.
Yes, these offer perhaps a more understated luxury. Sophisticated living. You find really stylish, often renovated apartments and modern condos right along the Singapore River.
Close to good restaurants and bars.
Absolutely. You're within easy reach of some of the city's best dining and nightlife, but it doesn't feel quite as frenetic as the CBD or Orchard Road. It has a certain sophisticated calm. The article notes it's popular for living, but also for investors looking for rental properties.
So luxury isn't just one thing in Singapore. It can be central and buzzing, or a quiet island retreat, or riverside chic.
Precisely. Lots of flavors of high-end living.
The source also makes sure to highlight cultural hotspots, areas where Singapore's amazing diversity really shines through, offering a much more immersive feel.
Yeah, these are the places that just hit all your senses. Little India is a prime example.
Oh, absolutely. The article nails it. The smell of spices, the sound of Bollywood music, the colors of the shops, the temples, the street art. It's intense.
You can find amazing traditional textiles, jewelry, incredible food like dosa and biryani. And visiting temples like Sri Veeramakaliamman is quite an experience. It's a place you just have to wander through, soak it all in, maybe try your hand at bargaining.
A sensory feast, definitely.
In the best way possible, a real connection to heritage right within the city.
Kampong Glam, the Arab street area, is another key cultural hub mentioned.
Yeah, that historic district is centered around the stunning Sultan Mosque. It's famous for beautiful textiles, fabrics, carpets, lots of Middle Eastern restaurants. And then you've got Haji Lane and Bali Lane nearby with all the trendy little boutiques and street art.
It's a cool mix of history and hipness.
It really is. Great for exploring the unique shockhouse architecture, grabbing some amazing hummus or kebabs. It blends heritage with a very current, cool vibe.
And Chinatown comes up again, this time specifically for its cultural significance.
Yes, it just shows how layered these neighborhoods are. Chinatown is obviously a hub of Chinese heritage. You see the traditional shop houses with everything from medicine halls to souvenir shops, plus major temples like the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple.
And the food.
Oh.
Can't talk Chinatown without mentioning the food. Dim sum, chicken rice, chili crab.
Hitting the markets or the hawker stalls there is essential. The article calls it a sensory overload sights, sounds, smells, tastes. It's history, culture, and as we said before, you can find affordable living options nearby too, especially in some of the HDB blocks.
It's a great point that these aren't just tourist zones, they're living communities with real housing options.
Exactly. People live and work there every day.
Okay, let's switch to something super practical, but absolutely vital for daily expat life.
Yeah.
Accessibility and transport.
Yeah, Move and Stay's insights really hammer this home. Singapore's small, sure, but how easily you get around dramatically impacts your quality of life. The MRT system is just,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
World class, isn't it? Clean, efficient, covers so much ground, and it's always expanding. The source really stresses that living near an MRT station is a massive advantage for commuting. Cuts down travel time, cuts down stress.
And you can imagine for Move and Stay dealing with lots of business travelers or people on assignment that easy MRT access to the CBD or other business hubs would be top of the list for many clients.
Definitely. And buses fill the gaps, right? They go pretty much everywhere.
Super extensive network, very frequent. The only downside, as the source mentions, is you can get stuck in traffic during peak hours.
True.
But they link up seamlessly with the MRT, same travel card, easy transfers. It really shows how integrated the whole public transport system is.
And what about cycling? The paths are getting better.
Yeah, that network is definitely growing, especially in the newer towns and along the park connectors. It's becoming a much more viable option.
Though maybe not midday in the heat.
Haha. Yeah, the heat and humidity are definitely a factor. But for shorter trips, exercise, or just leisure rides early morning or evening, it's great. It's part of that push towards more sustainable, active living.
So transport is key. Your needs there really shape which neighborhood works best.
Absolutely. It's not just the work commute. It's getting to shops, schools, meeting friends, accessing those green spaces we talked about. Connectivity is crucial.
Okay, so wrapping things up, the article offers some final thoughts on choosing your expat home. And the main takeaway seems to be there's no single right answer.
Exactly. It comes back to what we said at the start. Singapore offers huge diversity, and the best area is entirely personal. It depends completely on your specific needs, your lifestyle, what you value most.
So the advice is think hard about your daily commute. How will you travel? What things do you need close by? Schools, shops, parks, and crucially, what kind of atmosphere are you looking for?
Yeah, do you want that constant buzz of a trendy area, the quiet and space of a family neighborhood, or the unique vibe of a cultural hub?
And they also suggest actually getting out there, right? Visiting these places.
Definitely. Go explore. Walk around. Talk to people who live there, other expats maybe. That gives you a feel for a place that no guide can fully capture. Move Man Stay's success over 25 years comes from helping people make that practical connection, find the place that feels right on the ground.
We've certainly covered a lot of ground ourselves in this deep dive, drawing on those insights from MoveAndStay.com's long experience. From popular spots like Holland Village and Orchard to family areas like Serangoon Gardens in the East Coast.
To the trendy districts like Tiong Bahru and Duxton Hill, the up-and-coming places like Punggol, the different kinds of luxury living, and those vibrant cultural hotspots.
It really highlights how this compact island packs in such an incredible variety of environments.
Truly something for pretty much every taste, budget, and lifestyle. It's just about finding your niche within that spectrum.
So, thinking about all this diversity and how Singapore keeps evolving with new developments and transport links, how might your own priorities shift over time if you were living there? And reflecting on everything we've discussed, community, commute, green space, culture, what single neighborhood feature do you think ultimately makes the biggest difference to daily happiness?